morning, girls. Today I'm going to do Term 2, Lesson 9. Number 1. It says draw and label a 0 to 10 number line and a list of all the number bonds of 10. This is how you do it. You'll draw a number line from 0 to 10 and then you're going to list all the bonds of 10. So basically the family facts. It would be 0 plus 10 equals 10. 1 plus 9 equals 10, and so on. You can fold your page in half and do half next to the margin and half on the folded side. Number 2, it says draw and label a 0 to 30 number line and show 4 different family facts of 30. So exactly how the number line is stated there, you're going to draw that, and then you're going to write down any 4 sums that make up 30. So say 0 plus 30 equals 30, 5 plus 25 equals 30, and 2 plus 28 equals 30. Moving on to number 3, you have to write down 10 family facts of 25. So you can fold your page in half, you can do 5 next to the margin and 5 on the folded side. So for example, 2 plus 23 equals 25, or 20 plus 5 equals 25, and so on. The Premier Maths is pretty straightforward. You're going to draw a little table like this, and you're going to estimate the length of the door. Now remember, estimate is not actually measuring it with a ruler or a tape measure. You are looking at the door and saying, well, I think it's about, you can do it in meters or in centimeters. If you don't have a tape measure, you can just use your ruler. And you can put it in centimeters if that's what you want to do. So say you look at your door and you think, well, it's about, I'd say about 120 centimeters. And then you will actually measure it. So what you can do is take your ruler. Right, so this is using a ruler. So you could put your ruler down like this, put your finger on the top, and then move your ruler above again. So then you're going to have to count how many times you do this. So that first one would be 30. This one is now giving you 60. That one is now giving you 90. And you're going to carry on up your door until you get the correct measurements. The ruler would give you the centimeters, or you can also use a tape measure and ask your parents to help you measure it. Right, this is taking a tape measure and it gives you 2.1 meters. So it would be 2.1 meters. You're going to do the same with the width of your window, the length of a passage. Now, if you don't have a passage, you can leave that one out and you can just put a dash there. And a length of a motor car. Now, if you're in a block of flats and you can't get to your motor car due to social distancing, you can just guess it. I don't mind. And the same with the width of a motor car. There were a few queries about the spelling, time to read, OA, bubble, map, and sentences. So I'm going to explain to you how it's done. The girls do this kind of activity weekly. So what they do, we always like to try draw a picture just to make the bubble map a little bit more interesting and fun. So I've just drawn the OA sound in a boat. And I have thought of 5 different words. You're then going to number each bubble. Now they know how to do this. So number 1 would be float, number 2 oats, number 3 loaf, number 4 boat, and number 5 would be croak. The reason why they number it is because the number 1 sentence will have that particular word in. So in other words, number 1, you can make up a sentence with the word float. I float on my pink lilo in my swimming pool. I do like the girls to please start each sentence off with different words. In other words, don't start the next sentence with an I. Rather start off with my family and I like to eat oats in the morning. Please try use some adjectives and your sentences should be at least 5 words long. Moving on to life skills. It says a double bubble map. Comparing and contrasting seasons. The sharing bubbles are things that they have in common, share ideas, and the outer bubbles are things that they don't have in common or share ideas. There is an example of a double bubble of all the thinking maps under Life Skills tab and e-learning on the GRGS website. This is an example of a double bubble map, which I drew. They do not have to be perfect circles, but the girls should try to write the word and then actually draw the circle around them. They can turn their page to landscape, which would make it a lot easier, or you can print the map. So let's compare and contrast summer and winter. So you're going to put the words exactly where I have put them, and the girls can think of different words than I have. So in other words, summer, it's hot, you can swim, there are long days and short nights. Winter, it's cold, there could be snow and short days and long nights. Then something that they have in common is you can go to the park. You sometimes have cloudy days on summer and winter days, and also it can be rainy. I have sent an update on the life skills just to give you a little bit more guidance when it comes to doing the story of the grasshopper and the ants. There is a story of the ant and the grasshopper, and there are loads of worksheets and stories on YouTube about the ant and the grasshopper, which you can allow your daughter to listen to. And I've explained exactly how you do it in Life Skills. So it says, place your book and a landscape position in front of you, divide a new page in 4 equal parts, and see the example below. So you can see I've actually drawn a flow map there. You can put your own words in. It doesn't have to be the same as mine. Use your imagination. And the girls they don't have to follow the exact story. They could actually completely change the story to how they would like it. Just here's an example of the flow map on how it goes from one picture to the next. There are 4 pictures in the sequence, and I have sent you a picture. It is not a very clear copy because I didn't have my copy from school, but I have tried to do my best. Further down in the planning, you will actually see the breakdown of how it can be done in their book. The girls have done a picture sequence in their writing book, so they would know exactly how it's set up. The picture is next to the margin, and they're then right next to it. They should be able to do at least 2 to 3 sentences, if not more, next to each picture. Please encourage them to use adjectives and try not to use sentences that starting with a conjunctions like and or but and then, because they do tend to use the word then and then and then. So try encourage them to use different words. If you look in your reference book, there are a variety of triangles. Here's a picture in their reference book on page 14. The idea is basically for them not to use the top word. So in other words, don't use the word sad. Rather let them use words underneath sad. So pleased. Oops, I see there's a mistake in the book. Right, moving on to the word happy. Underneath, instead of using the word happy, they could use pleased or glad or joyful, or even go further using the word cheerful, thrilled, merry, ecstatic, or delighted. Instead of using the word looked, they could use stared or watched or peeped, or even better, gazed, peered, glanced, or scanned. Instead of using the, I, or my, they could say first or next. Moving on, which are a little bit more of the challenging ones, soon, after, before, when, and eventually and suddenly. These are triangle words, and the girls use them in my class by putting them in the middle of the table, and they do share ideas. A little fun activity I saw online is a little grasshopper. So they could do a little art activity when they are finished, or they could draw a picture of an ant. And it's kind of a 3D, so you could kind of lift off the insect off the picture, the paper, and create more of a 3D effect. Please go through your reference book. There are so many different ideas and words that you could use in your stories and in your sentences that you are writing for your English. If you can look through, even if you go further on, you can actually see the family facts of the different numbers. I would advise you to please also go through timing. You can actually see how we're going to go further on with some of the sums. But if you look at the time, there are some clocks further down, and you can see exactly how we teach them the clock. And please carry on encouraging them to learn how to tell the time in digital and on analog clocks. They do get confused, especially with the hour hand, and I do sing that little song is short hand, hour hand, long hand, minute hand, and then they have to move their hands according to the hands of the clock. Well, I hope you learned a lot today, and that's just all the lessons in a small nutshell. See you next time. Bye.